Well, we'll be stepping on the merry-go-round for the next programme for schools and colleges, and that's in 2 minutes.
The city of Newcastle, on the River Tyne in the north of England, is home for nearly 250,000 people. Can you think how it got its name? Well, the castle's not so new anymore. It's nearly 1,000 years old. In the old days, Newcastle was a much smaller place, and it had a wall around it. Shipbuilding has always been important because Newcastle is by the river. In fact, it's the most important industry today. Newcastle was a town long before it became a city. But what makes a town turn into a city? Sometimes it's the size. Often a city has a cathedral. Newcastle's cathedral used to be just a parish church. But there was something else that made Newcastle into a city. The Lord Mayor told us about it.
This is the charter. We have very ancient charters going into the 15th century, but this one made Newcastle a city and a very important area in the northern part of Britain.
What does being the Lord Mayor mean?
It simply means being the chief citizen of a city, someone who's been elected to hold that office of chief citizen. This is the charter making a Lord Mayor instead of just a mayor. There are many mayors, but there are comparatively few Lord Mayors. Newcastle has the honour of having a Lord Mayor.
The Lord Mayor wears special clothes.
Well, these have been worn by successions of Lord Mayors. Black velvet edging and rather nice fur.
There's a special chain as well.
It's very old, it's made of gold, and it certainly represents the fact that I am for 1 year, the chief citizen and Lord Mayor of Newcastle.
It's an important city, and so over the years it's collected a lot of old and valuable things.
The mace, it's oak inside and silver with gilt over it, and of course it has the crown, the rose, the thistle and so on round about. This sword is 15th century and very fearsome looking if you pulled it out of the scabbard.
They're meant to show how important the mayor and the city are.
The mace bearer and the sword bearer go before the Lord Mayor, the Deputy Lord Mayor and the Chief Executive Officer in procession.
Ladies and gentlemen,
And always at the monthly council meetings, they precede the Lord Mayor.
The council meetings are an important part of city life. It's here that the councillors meet together to decide how to run the city. It's their job to make sure that everyone living in the city gets their fair share of things. But what are those things that people need? See if you can spot some of them.
I went to bleeding races, 'twas on the 9th of June 1862 in a summer's afternoon. We took the bus from Barbara's, the sea was heavy laden. Away we went along Collinwood Street, that's on the road to Bleeding. Oh, me lads, you should have seen us scanning, past the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all were smiling faces, gathered along the Scottsville Road to see the Bleeding races. We flew past Armstrong's factory and up to the Robin Adair, and gone across the railway bridge, the bus wheel flew up there. The lasses have lost their crinolines and the veils that hide their faces. I got 2 black eyes and a broken nose, gone into Bleeding races. Oh, me lads, you should have seen us ganning, past the folks along the road just as they were standing. All the lads and lasses there, all were smiling faces, gathered along the Scottsville Road to see the Bleeding races. Now when we got the wheel put on, away we went again, and them that had their noses broke would come back away again. Some went to the dispensary, and some to Dr. Gibbs's, and some to the infirmary to mend their broken ribses. Oh, me lads, you should have seen us yelling.
But it's the people who live there that make a city. In Newcastle, they call themselves Geordies. Here in Byker, a part of Newcastle, there's a lot of changes going on. Byker had a lot of old houses. Some of them didn't have bathrooms, and they're being pulled down to make way for a brand new housing development. The Hodgkinson family live here. Shona and Mari like it here. They've lots of friends nearby, and there's no traffic, so there's plenty of room to play. Byker is a bit like a village in the city. It's got houses and schools, and the local high street is just around the corner. The Hodgkinsons don't have to go far to get some of the things they want.
Blue jeans, please. 14 pence.
But there isn't a lot of choice in the local shops. If you want special things, you have to go into the centre of the city, and that means a bus ride. There are a lot of buses because so many people rely on them to get around the city. It takes a bus about 10 minutes to get to the centre. In the centre of the city, they've built a brand new shopping area. There are masses of shops here, all under one roof. It makes shopping easier because there's no traffic to worry about, and you can be sure you won't get wet. The Hodgkinsons know exactly what they want to buy.
Can you put your foot on the measure, please? $3. Is it a brown shoe or a black shoe?
Brown, please.
A bar shoe, would that be all right?
Yes, do we see?
Fine, I'll see what I have. Put your foot in, please. Got a size allowed for growth in the measurement. That's most important. If you can turn around, please. And they fit very well at the ankle.
Let's see if she likes them. Do you like them?
Yes.
Sure. You feel all right?
In the streets outside, there are just as many people, and they come from many miles away to the large shops. In some of the streets in the city centre, you can still find old buildings, like the theatre. But like everywhere else, the buildings and roads need to be altered.